on the mound for the Atlanta Braves when we come back right after this. Santana against Chris Medlin, the kid from the Braves.
Well, if you're Chris Medlin, you love this matchup. It's only your sixth start. You're getting a chance to get out there and match up against one of the best. But if you're going to face Johan Santana, if you're the Braves, you've got a big task ahead of you. He throws a good fastball with a great changeup. His arm angle is so good it doesn't tell you one way or the other what pitch is coming. Although this year he's been a little bit vulnerable with 2 strikes. He's always put hitters away in the past. This year, a little bit of crack in the armor. If you're Chris Medlin, you've done a nice job out of the Braves bullpen, because now you're coming in to fill in for a starter. You've got a good fastball, good sinker. And the one thing he's got to do a little bit better is his average against right-handers, 340, a little bit too high. He's handled the left-handers at 216, but look for him to make some adjustments against the right-handers as he looks to face the lineups a few more times.
And by comparison, Chris Medlin, compared to last year's, really cut down on his walks. We'll tell you more about that as we're just about ready for first pitch. We'll have that for you from Turner Field right after this. between the Braves and the Mets. Beautiful night, as I said, 81 degrees, a light breeze out of the west blowing out toward right field, and low humidity. A perfect night for baseball. Now it's time for the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry Big Smile seat upgrade, and JJ's found some lucky fans tonight and is now upgrading their seats. Yeah, keep watching to see where their new seats are located, sponsored by the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. Let's take a look at the batting order, brought to you by Stone Mountain Park and Evergreen Marriott Resort. For great getaway packages, visit stonemountainpark.com. For the New York Mets, a little different look to their lineup tonight. Jose Reyes at the top of the order, then Luis Castillo and Chris Carter. David Wright will back cleanup, Ike Davis, and then Angel Pagan. Pagan's been swinging the bat real well, had a night off last night. Jeff Francoeur's back in there playing right field. Henry Blanco will do the catching, Johan Santana the pitcher. And on the mound for the Braves, 24-year-old Chris Medlin, who you and I both love.
Yep, he's a gutsy little guy that goes out there and competes. You got to give him some time to get adjusted to throwing more innings now. He started the year, his 52nd appearance all-time as his career. Only his 6th start. He's facing a Mets team that's only hit .236 against right-handers, so that should help him. And breezy to right field. Try to keep the ball from left center to center. He should be okay, and need somebody to step up for the Braves offensively and take charge. This is the time. 1/4 of the season's underway.
Umpires for tonight's game behind the plate will be 17-year veteran Tom Hallion. Ron Kolpa at first base in his 11th year. Lance Barksdale's at second, and Ed Rapawano is a crew chief in his 19th year. He'll work at third, and we're just about set to go. The Mets snapped their 5-game losing streak last night. They are now 5-12 on the road, but as we said, they are 4-0 against the Braves. And Jose Reyes will lead it off. 1 for 4 last night, hitting .221. And the first pitch of the game is outside, ball 1. Medlin, 24 years old, 5'10", 190, out of Norwalk, California. Fly ball sent to right center field. It'll be McLeod who calls off Hayward for the out. 1 away.
Good sign. You want him hitting the ball in the air and not on the ground. Chances of success obviously go way down.
The rest of the defense for the Braves tonight, the outfield looks like this with a left-hander going. Melky Cabrera gets a start in left field. Hayward's in right, flanking McLeod. The infield is Jones, Escobar, Prado, and Glaus. And Brian McCann doing the catching. That all remains the same. Luis Castillo, the second baseman, steps in. He was 0 for 3 last night, but did have a sacrifice bunt, hitting .257. Medlin last year, when he first started with the Braves after he was called up, his first 5 games, 21 innings, he walked 14 batters. 14 walks in his first 21 innings. By comparison, this year, he's worked 23 innings, and he's only walked 3. So he's really settling in.
He is. He went from maybe a little bit more of a power fastball last year to a sinker, change-up type mindset. And it's going to get him through the lineup, get him some more ground balls. He's coming out of the pen, and maybe that was the approach he was trying to look for. And now that he's going to get, he needs some time to get back into this rotation. You don't just leave spring training, not amass that many innings, and jump into a 6-inning, 7-inning stint.
Goes 3-1 on Castillo, who's 0 for 3 against Medlin in his career. Chris has been in 4 games against the Mets. All of his work has been out of the bullpen against him. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, but no runs. 3-2.
Everybody doesn't realize your preparation's different. You come to the park, it's totally different. You're preparing for a start versus, hey, I might get in there. Give it a little bit more loose as a reliever.
2 hopper to Prado. And the first 2 set down by Medlin.
I'd be interested to see already at an early stage what he prefers. I mean, I know it's not up to him, but if given the choice, what he does prefer, what suits him, his personality, because not everybody can do both of these roles.
No, but he was primarily a starter in the minor leagues before he was called up last year. And I would venture a guess that he'd prefer that. 8 games, 6 starts at Gwinnett last year. Before he was called up, he was 5-0 with a 1.19 ERA. Strike call to Chris Carter, playing left field tonight. 1 for 2 with a double and an RBI last night. Good changeup, 0-2.
He said coming out of spring training, he's working on that pitch. He feels a lot more comfortable. And you know, the challenge out of the pen is you don't get an opportunity to throw a bunch of them. So now maybe as a starter, he can get that feel and lock in on just getting that fastball release point, changeup release point, curveball. And this is all going to help him once he does, and if he does go back to the pen.
Got him with another changeup. Really good inning for Chris Medlin. He gets him in order, and we go to the bottom of the first. No score. Hayward and Jones remain the same at the top. Brian McCann and Troy Gloss to follow. Troy Gloss has been swinging the bat his last 8 games, 387 average, 3 homers. Hinsky, that's not right. Escobar, McLeod, and Medlin. We've actually got Cabrera working in the game tonight in left field.
And Johan Santana on the mound as the Braves are hitting .224 against left-handers. 13-9 last year, 3-2 this year. He had the one big hiccup against Philadelphia where he gave up 10 runs. He settled down nicely, and as we said, the opponent batting average is a little high for his likings.
Martin Prado will lead it off. 2 for 3 again last night. His average at 329.
It's one of 3 guys that are hitting, the only guys that are hitting 300 against left-handers. He's currently hitting 341 against left-handers.
3 for 10 in his career against Santana.
Maybe.
Johan, 31 years old, 6 feet, 210 pounds, out of Venezuela. He's now the all-time winningest pitcher in the major leagues from Venezuela. He passed Freddie Garcia. To third, tough hop, and right made a swipe. Wait a minute, what happened?
he got hit, and then he realized, he hit it off his foot, and then he realized, that's a hit.
Yeah, and started running.
I'm fine.
Yeah. I don't know if it hit his foot or not, but
he figured, well, if it didn't, he thought the play was going to be made, and then when he saw it wasn't.
That's great. Martin's working it pretty solid here. 1-2 the count. Down the right field line, slicing toward the seats and into the crowd.
We talked about Santana and his opponent batting average with 2 strikes in 06. 127, 07, 157, 08, 177, and 09. As you look there, 171. This year, a little bit high. Too high. 252.
See what happens here. 1 and 2 again. Foul back. Martin able to fight those pitches off inside, and you better be careful if you come in on him. Strong enough to turn on the ball. Martin 8 for 17 on the homestand with 2 homers. Sends that one in the air to center. Pagan can go get him, but he's right there for the catch and the out. And you know what we're going to do now, John?
Let me guess. The right lineup.
We're going to show you the right lineup. It's actually got Troy Gloss hitting cleanup and Brian McCann batting 5th. He'll be followed by Yunel Escobar. There's Melky Cabrera batting 7th and Nathan Clout 8th. And Chris Medlin 9th. That is your Atlanta Braves starting lineup for Tuesday.
Scoreboard operator gave you the first one.
Well, there was lineup change tonight. All kinds of stuff to deal with. Of course, that lineup change was with the Mets, but that's another story. Jason Hayward, 1 for 4 last night. Snapped out of a mini offer he was in. 2-0 to him. Left-handers hitting 261 against Santana. Right-handers 252, so about the same. Toward the hole and through, base hit. Typically, John, I don't think lefties see that changeup as much as right-handers.
Not as much. I know Glavine made it famous. A lot of guys have been picking up on it. But you look at this fastball out over the plate, down. He'll use that fastball to set up his other pitches with his changeup and slider. But Mr. Hayward currently hitting 300 against left-handers, hanging in there tough.
Got 10 for 31 now. Chipper Jones 0 for 1 last night. A walk and a sacrifice fly, and in fact 2 walks. 5 for 17 in his career against Santana. Been a while since he's homered. April 16th, over a month ago, against Colorado here. Slide step, pitch pull foul.
It's going to be tough to steal on Hank White, as they call him, in Blanco.
That's what Skip used to call him all the time.
5 for 5 in that department.
Now, Rod Barajas was scratched right before the game with flu-like symptoms, and Henry Blanco in there. Barajas 0 for 12 on base stealers. And as you said, Henry 5 for 5 at catching them. Santana's pretty quick to the plate. To right field. Francoeur in the sunshine will make the catch. 2 down for Gloss. Santana's last start, one of those that it's kind of tough to take as a starting pitcher, I'm sure, John. He pitched great against the Marlins. 7 innings, 6 hits. He gave up 1 unearned run, walked 1, struck out 5, and got no decision. The Mets eventually lost the game 2-1.
Well, the other pitcher is going to be on their best game when you're facing him, so it's always in for a battle when you're facing the top pitcher on the other team.
Big cut from Troy. 0 for 4 last night. That was a rare collar for him.
May is the only month that Santana has an ERA career-wise over 4.
Really?
Only month. And he's 18 and 12 in that month. So if you're going to get him, this is the time. May.
Oh, and 2 to Troy. It's a 4-time All-Star. Santana's won 2 Cy Young Awards, the first in 2004 with Minnesota. He was a unanimous choice, went 20-6 with a 2.61 ERA. 2 years later, he was unanimous choice again, 19-6 for the Twins, a 2.77 ERA. Waste one high, 1-2 the count.
Well, the Braves have been killing them, relatively speaking. 1-5, but with a 2.21 ERA, and 1-2 here at Turner with a 1.71. So that bad luck has continued against the Braves.
Hayward leads from first, and he'll draw a throw. Glad you're with us tonight from Turner Field. If you're in the area, come on by. We got room for you. Beautiful night. Braves trying to put the first one in the win column against the Mets this year. There's the changeup. It missed. 2-2.
You viewers at home, that pitch doesn't look like much. It is deadly. Same arm action, comes at the hitter with a fastball delivery, and the ball just doesn't get there. He'll usually throw it off his fastball. If it's down in the zone, he follow up with a changeup, and the hitter's wanting to go after it because he doesn't want to get beat with the fastball, and he comes up short.
Full count. Jason will get a head start here. Can't leave too soon or risk being picked off. But a full count to Gloss, who was behind 0-2. Troy's had good numbers against Santana in his career. 8 for 24 with a homer. There goes the runner, and he walked him. 13th walk of the year for Santana in 49 innings. So first and second for McCann, who also has done well against Santana. 6 for 22, but 2 of those hits are homers. Brian was 0 for 4 last night, hitting .243, 3 homers, 12 driven in. Brian hitting a little over 200 against lefties, 6 for 29. But that's an unusual number for Mac. Takes a lot of pride in driving in runs, and that's a low average for him. Two on, 2 out. We're in the first. No score.
You know, the season's long enough. You just never know. We pointed out yesterday in a game where Derek Lowe, I think that last inning he pitched, if he hangs on to that last inning, could be a key to the success for him the rest of the year. You never know for a hitter what it's going to take. A blue pit, some adjustment. When you're struggling, it takes something special to get you out of that it zone to get on fire. And I really believe Brian, the number's 243. That's as low as it's going to get. I really think he's going to get locked in here and be the catcher and hitter that we've got to see for the better of his first 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's always strange. You know, you get to about the 40-game mark and you start. The team you've got could be the team you've got. And I think early on, everyone's trying to feel what are the Braves. You know, they faced a lot of tough pitching, had some tough road trips. But this team now has to start figuring out the next 40 games how we can do better what we didn't do the first 40 games, especially offensively.
Chased a bad one. Santana leaves a couple on base. We've played one, no score at Turner Field.
And if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtree.com. Please include your name. More saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
Top of the second, David Wright, Ike Davis, and Angel Pagan due up for the Mets. David Wright has at least one strikeout in 14 straight games. Went 0 for 4 with a strikeout last night. Dropped his average to 270. And he's just 9 for his last 39. Braves have not lost 5 in a row to the Mets since they lost the last 4 meetings in 2003, and then a carryover to the first meeting in 2004. And 0-4 against them this year. Right, shoots one into right and deep. Hayward going back. Makes an over-the-shoulder catch. 1 pitch, 1 out in the second.
Nothing better than a 1 pitch out. Tough little shadow that he took care of. Looks awfully comfortable out there, Jim.
Yeah, that ball took off on him too, but he's so quick to read the ball and make adjustments. And one thing we really haven't seen is anybody really challenge his arm. He's had a couple of throws to the plate, but otherwise can't even remember anybody that tried to go first to third on him.
I always like this situation early in the game. I came right after it with another fastball because typically you run the risk very few times the guy makes a 1 pitch out, the next guy's going to swing at the first pitch. I almost looked at it as a free strike.
1-1 now to Ike Davis. 0 for 2 last night, but he walked. He was also hit by a pitch and scored a run. Big swing and miss on a changeup. All-American out of Arizona State University. Tried to tie him up, and all he could do is fight it off. Ike's got one of the longest home runs so far in 2010. Came against the Braves, his first Major League homer at Citi Field. 450 feet. Stays alive. Here's a look at it. Did you see this one, John?
I did, and it was a wow on TV too.
Stayed in the air a long time. Line to center. McLeod right there for the out. 2 hard hit balls with 2 outs. And Angel Pagan, the batter, he's been swinging the bat pretty well for the Mets. Got a night off last night, but he's hitting .344 over his last 8 games. Good looking player. Got some good speed. Play any of the outfield spots. One and 0. If the Mets win tonight, it'll be the first road series they've won this year. Every other one was a loss series-wise. They're just 5-12 on the road after the win last night. .92 on that fastball, but it missed.
Very effective pitch. Trying to get a front door strike. If worst case scenario, as you did right there, you move his feet. Followed up with something off speed away.
Another line drive. This one right at Hayward again, and in the sunshine, He makes the catch. 3 hard hit balls, but some atom balls. 3 up and 3 down. 6 up and 6 down. We go to the bottom of the second. The 3 guys we talked about in our opening comments about how it was time for them to take it up a notch. Swing and a miss at a changeup. Escobar 0 for 3 last night. One and one. He has only 1 hit since he came back from the disabled list on Saturday. Good work against Santana, however. That's foul. Santana now 125 major league wins, 62 losses. Kind of interesting and amazing when you look at his road to the big leagues and what happened. Got him looking. Bunnell thought it was low, but Tom Hallion rings him up. Second strikeout for Santana.
Throws a fastball right there, and it looks like the umpire gets shot as he's doing that strikeout call. I kind of like that strikeout call. A little reversal there, chiropractic move.
Yeah, pretzel thing for Tom Hallion.
I like an umpire who gets excited about a strike 3 call.
Melky Cabrera, broken bat, grounder to third. Right to throw him out. That barrel of the bat actually went into the stands. Hopefully everybody's all right over here. Just to the left of where the screen stops. The bat came flying into the stands and hit a man in the arm. He looks to be okay. That was scary. Two out. Nate McClouth, the batter. Nate was 2 for 4 last night. He's got a 4-game hitting streak.
Nate! Mentioned about Santana. He's a former Rule 5 pick for the Florida Marlins from Houston. And the same day was traded to the Twins for Jared Camp.
And cash consideration.
Come on.
Originally signed by Houston. And then the Marlins got him in a Rule 5 and traded him the same day. That is crazy. Mets knew something that Houston and Florida didn't. Or excuse me, the Twins did. The 2-1 in one.
Well, of the 120-some wins since 2004, he's led all of baseball with 102 wins, 2.89 ERA, and strikeouts at 1,375. Pretty impressive.
A 2-out walk to McLeod will bring Medlin to the plate. But first of all, Braves Baseball on Peachtree TV and HD is brought to you by the Georgia Aquarium. Visit the Georgia Aquarium where imaginations go to play. Go to georgiaaquarium.org to learn more. It's also a playground for John Smoltz. He loves the aquarium.
Love it. Animals. Aquatic. Mammals. Amphibians.
Got it.
Otters. Love otters.
Chris Medlin 1 for 4. Batting right-handed. Comes up empty on a changeup. Chris is a pretty good hitter in college. He signed out of Santa Ana Junior College, a 10th round pick by the Braves. Played some shortstop. Lights that one off. 0-2. Changeup missed. Santana's had one start that really skewed all of his numbers. You can relate to that, John. May 2nd against the Phillies, 3 2/3 innings. He gave up 10 earned runs. If you take that start out, since April 17th, his ERA is 1.32. Medlin hanging tough. So he's actually pitched better than even his 3.88 ERA would indicate. Two and two.
Making him throw some pitches.
Up to 38. We're only in the second. Off the end of the bat, Castillo should make that play, and he does, and the inning is over. Braves leave a runner. We go to the third inning of play. No score. It's better results. Could use a little fair. It was cold. Jeff Francoeur leads off the third inning. 6 up and 6 down for Chris Medlin, and why not? It's a night for a perfect game. Wouldn't you say, John?
I would say so.
Fly ball to right. Hayward's been busy. He's got it. Francoeur now 0 for his last 20. 7 in a row set down by Medlin, and it was on this date in 2004, right here at Turner Field, that Randy Johnson fired his perfecto at the Atlanta Braves, striking out Eddie Perez for the last out. Struck out 13 that night. How many did he walk, John?
That would be 0.
Thought I'd catch it. Henry Blanco steps in. Henry's hit in 5 straight. Two and one to Blanco, who was not in the original lineup. He just joined us. Rod Barajas is swinging a hot bat. Scratched from the lineup with flu-like symptoms. 2-2.
Nobody pays attention, I don't think, anymore. Only 2 right-handed hitters. Struggling against right-handed hitters. You put in all those left-handed hitters, give them an opportunity to not just never figure it out.
That's out of play.
They got those numbers for a reason. I know they don't always mean, but 3 right-handed hitters with right in the lineup. But for whatever reason, when Tom Glavine pitched over his course of his career, they just kept throwing right-handers at him and just feeding him.
Full count.
And he would tell you left-handers gave him more fits.
Sure. Took away some of his pitches.
But you got to go with those percentages. The unwritten book. I'm going to unwrite the unwritten book.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there goes the perfecto. But speaking of that, 6 years ago tonight, last out of the game, Randy Johnson strikes out Eddie Perez, and Robbie Hammock just went crazy. The catcher, of course, everybody else did too. 2-0 game. Johan Santana. Ooh, throw over there. Medlin's got some quick feet, quick release. I don't think Henry will be running with the pitcher up there, but gave it a try. Santana's a pretty good hitter. 2 for 14 so far on the year with a double. How's that fun attempt off? Hey, how about what's going on down in Florida?
Yeah.
Hanley Ramirez and Freddie Gonzalez. Wow, fireworks.
Been a lot of undertone of that going on the last 2 years. It finally boiled to the surface. And Freddie had enough.
Try to give you the gist of it as we go here. Pulled the bunt back and fouled it off. Last night, Hanley Ramirez fouled the ball off his foot, was able to stay in the game, but on the next inning, defensively, a little bloop was hit out between short and left field. Ramirez went out, couldn't get it, then accidentally kicked the ball into the left field corner and just jogged after it. 2 runs scored. The batter made his way to third. And right after that, Freddie Gonzalez took him out of the game. Tried to bunt with 2 strikes, but he bunted right through it. That'll go in the books as a strikeout for Medlin. So Freddie said in the papers, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he's got a responsibility as one of the leaders on the team to play hard. All our guys do, and he owes his teammates an apology for lack of hustle. benched him today. Marlins won anyway behind Josh Johnson 8-0 over Arizona. But Ramirez says he's not going to apologize, and that Freddie doesn't understand because he never played in the big leagues. A real slap in the face at his manager.
Yeah, just another horrible comment about a heat of the moment. Players are best to just shut up when something like that happens. Let it cool down, because they're never going to say anything that's going to get them out of trouble. And just a lack of respect as a player. When a manager sets the rules and does things that he thinks he should do, you honor it.
There were some scouts in that series between the Mets and the Marlins just concluded that are here now that told me that that same type of play was going on for that 4-game series. That Ramirez was about half speed to 3/4 speed on just about everything. Tom Hallion flinched there but didn't make the call. 2-1.
Really good fastball again. He's been working on staying on. Probably came across the plate on the backside. Didn't catch the corner. That's an effective pitch against the left-handers. Getting them to move their feet.
Oh, what a changeup. Just a beauty. 2-2. Will he double it up? Yep. Struck him out. 3 strikeouts for Medlin. He issues a walk that leaves that runner stranded. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Top of the order for the Braves. No score. Enter for a chance to win. AirTran Airways, go. There's nothing stopping you. It looks like the 745 on the way to New York right there. And as Martin Prado comes to the plate, let's take a look at tonight's leaderboard, brought to you by the Sunshine House, a tradition of excellence in early education. And tonight's subject is hits leaders in the National League, and Martin Prado at the top of the list with 52 after a 2-hit game last night. Marlon Byrd second. He's one of the few bright spots for the Cubs so far this year. Martin flied to center his first time up. 0-2.
For whatever reason, these numbers have, if you're going to get the Mets, these are the next 2 innings to get them. opponents have outscored them 25-7 in the third, 34-9 in the fourth. But then the Mets go to work in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Strange how certain numbers just repeat themselves in particular innings.
That is crazy. Might have something to do with second time through the order too. Pitchers getting it, or hitters getting a little better feel for the starting pitchers of the Mets. Another rope to center. Pagan will have to backpedal on this one and make a running catch. Prado hit it on the nose, but one away for Hayward, who singled his first time up. The only hit so far for Atlanta, and the only hit in the game, period. Takes a fastball, 1-0. Jason was 0 for 13 before he singled in the 8th last night. He singled his first at bat tonight.
By going to the second hole, you only hope that he has the same amount of opportunities to drive in runs. The RBIs might go down a little bit, but this lineup seems to be a more productive lineup for the Braves so far.
Well, if Prado's hitting in front of him and continues to hit, Martine's going to be on base in front of him a lot. Some of it might have to do with that 8th place hitter, and lately that's been Nate McLeod. Tapper back to the mound. 2 out. No, he highlighted those 3 guys at the bottom of the order tonight: Escobar, Cabrera, and McLeod, needing to pick up the pace. His number 3 hitter's got to pick it up too.
He does, and
he's getting on base, but
he knows it, you know, and he's not lacking confidence, but there comes a point where execution starts creeping into confidence, and he's going to do the things he's drawn his career over the past 10 years. You're going to stay the same there, but there might be some adjustments you have to make to change the approach of how pitchers are pitching you.
Little soft line drive to center. That'll drop in front of Pagan. Base hit for Chipper, who today had a story written about him in the Atlanta paper where he said he could see that the end was near, or something to that effect. But they knew it wasn't too far off from being time to call it quits. It was in the Mark Bradley column. Troy Gloss walked his first time up. Chipper's 2 for 2 in stolen bases.
Santana has not allowed more than 6 stolen bases in any season in his career, which is pretty amazing. And this year, 4.
Wow. Maybe he's not throwing over as much. Or maybe his catcher's not throwing anybody out. Barajas 0 for 12. But Henry Blanco's back there tonight. He's been perfect. As long as Troy stays ahead in the count here, I don't think you'll see Chipper run, because Gloss is capable of finding a gap, hitting a double, and Chipper could score from first on that. Great advantage when there's 2 outs. You can just run on contact. Gloss has 25 RBIs. 14 have come with 2 out. Change up, driven deep to left. This has got a chance to get out of here. Gone! 2-run homer for Troy Gloss. Looks like he might have been sitting on the changeup.
Hit it low enough, too, to get through the wind. The changeup hangs over the zone, right into bat speed. And he drills it through the wind. Perfect swing. Knows it when he hits it. Make that opponents has now scored 27 runs in the 3rd inning to the Mets 7.
6th home run for Troy Gloss, and his 2nd career homer off Johan Santana. 2 more 2-out RBIs for Troy. Strike 2 call to Brian McCann, who fanned his first time up. Lined in a right field base hit for McCann. Is he going to test Francoeur's arm? No.
We've heard about that for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't even want to run the risk of hearing about it either.
Should have acted like he tripped or missed the first base or something.
Well, it was a rocket.
2-strike pitch is what we've been talking about. His average is not as good. Right here, he's thinking he's got it. He's got it. Whoops.
Good swing for Brian. Yunel Escobar took a call 3rd strike, his first time up. By the way, we had a winner in the Airtran home run inning from Midway, Georgia. Larry Anthony.
It's been a while, huh?
First one of the year.
Let's go.
Maybe they'll pick a destination for some Braves road games. And Anthony can invite Larry to come with him.
That would be odd.
Line foul. Two to nothing Atlanta. 2-run homer by Troy Gloss. His 6th of the year. And it was the 6th home run allowed by Santana for the season, too. Down the line, but slicing out a play. Pittsburgh's taking a 1-0 lead over the Phillies. They're in the 5th. Zach Duke against Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
Missed with a changeup, 2-2.
He can't be the first 7-game winner.
On there, SK.
Clippard's got that taken care of in Washington out of the pen.
That's living right. Hit it up the middle for a base hit. Good at bat for Yunel Escobar. Didn't try to do too much of that fastball, and the Braves keep this 2-out inning alive. Runners at 1st and 2nd for Cabrera.
Better balance right up the middle where it came from. Stayed square inside. Something we're used to seeing. Didn't try to force it to right field. Didn't try to do anything different other than hit it where it was pitched.
Dan Warthen, the pitching coach for the Mets, out to talk to Santana.
it's okay to have a game plan when you're a hitter, but sometimes you have to be able to adjust, especially with 2 strikes. Pull your hands in, hit it up the middle, go the other way. And it just seemed like when we were in St. Louis, there was a real conscious effort of Bunnell to really, really try to go to right field on almost every approach. You know, he's got power. He can hit the ball with power. And the balance and everything that he's dealing with right now is probably a little out of his sorts because of some of his injuries coming out of spring training. Then he spent a little time on missing some time. So hopefully he can get it turned around, as we talked about in the open.
Melky Cabrera grounded out on the first pitch he saw in the second inning. Takes a strike here.
First and second, 2 out, 2 in. Oh, 2.
See, the formula so far, without having seen Johan pitch a lot, is get the 2 strikes really quick. And then that really good changeup or that out pitch, which has really been dominating as the years previous, just hasn't been able to put guys away. A good example in that Philadelphia game when he had walked Jamie Moyer with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And then I think the next hitter gave up a grand slam.
Victorino.
And everybody in the game goes through little slumps. You try to make a real good pitch. You start thinking about it. Everyone's talking about it. You try to make it even better. And the next thing you know, you start repeating those same mistakes.
In the air down the third base line, but foul. And out of play.
You know, everyone, well, not everyone, a lot of people think 0-2, waste a pitch. No, you can't give up an 0-2 hit. Maddox got most of his decisions on 0-2. He didn't care about wasting a pitch. And sometimes a pitcher gets so caught up in moving the guy's feet or trying to not give up, be a defensive pitch. I don't want to give up a hit 0-2. That might be your best chance to put a guy away.
Melky, a little soft liner to left center, but Pagan is there. And that'll end the inning.
But the Braves get on the board first with the home run by Glass. This has been the Airtran Airways home run inning of the game, where tonight Anthony from Midway, Georgia has been selected as the Airtran Airways home run inning sweepstakes winner. Airtran Airways, go. There's nothing stopping you.
Simpson.
David Wright's done that. He's got that working right now. So the last guy before him.
First name pops up into my head. Howard Johnson.
That's a good call. I was thinking Darryl Strawberry.
Those were the 2.
I'll stay with my gut instinct on that one. Louis Castillo grounded out his first time up. He leads off the fourth. Braves up 2-zip. Chris Medlin has allowed only one base runner, and that was a walk to Blanco in the third. Liner to left, base hit. Louis Castillo at his finest right there.
If you don't get that pitch in enough, you're actually doing him a favor because he loves to serve it that way. Let's take that little bucket step and just play a little tennis to that side of the field. Drives the pitcher nuts. Sometimes off speed will get him to roll over and get a little soft ground ball to third or short, second for that matter. One of those positions.
Chris Carter struck out to end the first. He takes a strike here. He likes to swing the bat. So get him to roll over on one. 3 RBIs already and 11 at bats with the Mets. Right at the bag. You nail the first, double play.
Got away with a little hanging changeup. Higher than high changeups are harder to hit. Belt high changeups over the middle go a long ways. Fine line is getting it higher than high.
You were always, correct me if I'm wrong, you were always searching for a changeup.
Oh my gosh.
Why did you have trouble throwing one?
You could have showed me 5 grips, and each grip I could have thrown 90 miles an hour. I just never found a grip without the air going out in my delivery and telegraphing it, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And I just could never take the miles per hour off the pitch. That's why I went to the split finger, and it was more natural for me. But I tried every year.
Did you try choking the ball like a palm ball type thing?
Everything. I used to smile on the mound when I'd throw a changeup. I'd cover my face because I didn't want anyone to see it. That's how happy I was when I threw a changeup and got a good result on it. But it's just one of those things with the way I grip the ball, the way it feels. I just never got comfortable. I tried everything from Maddox to Glavine to you name it, and just the split finger or the Foch grip was the one that felt the most comfortable.
I would have loved to have been in the bullpen when those guys are trying to help you with a circle change grip.
Oh, I could throw it down there.
Oh,
one of the best. It's just when you got revved up in the game, and I tried dragging my foot, tried everything you could do to slow the pitch down without slowing my body and my arm. And I might as well say, here comes changeup, I'm showing you. And I just never got it.
2-2 to David Wright. Just missed, full count.
That was a great pitch. He's going to get that call, I guarantee you, more times than not if he keeps it right there.
Payoff pitch. Down the line, slicing toward the corner. Long run for Hayward. Foul ball.
The wind helped this push it just enough foul to where it didn't cause any problems. Almost a good catch there by the captain.
That's one of those replays, John, that people in the truck like to refer to as a Glenn Diamond type fundamental replay. Ball or strike, fair or foul.
Like that now. I'll put that in my hat.
That was foul. 15 straight games. David Wright has struck out at least once, and his helmet takes the brunt of it. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Stars Hal Galima. Glad you're with us. Nate McLeod leads off. Be followed by Chris Medlin and Martin Prado. Glenn Diamond, our producer. Renardo Lowe, our director this evening. If anything goes wrong, it is their fault.
Nick.
0-2. Nate 6 for 15 in his 4-game hitting streak, including a homer.
Rip.
Stays alive there. It's funny how you have little milestones during the course of a season, though, John, especially when you're struggling like Nate has been. Just to get to 200 would be something to build on. I climbed over it just briefly the other night.
Absolutely, and then you get to a point where you never have to worry about dipping below it. So, you know, hitters and pitchers all have their little idiosyncrasies, and you're always searching for the one thing that gives you that confidence to feel like, I got it.
Hard hit down the line. Oh, but foul, says Ron Culpa. Nate says it was foul by an inch. Oh. Mr. Diamond and Mr. Renardo Lowe have the line camera tonight. Wow. That looked pretty like it went right over the corner of the bag. Tom Hallion does his pretzel. Third strikeout for Santana. What do you think, John? Fair or foul?
Well, yeah, I think it's foul. He hit it so hard.
We will bow to Mr. Culp being so close to the play. Medlin grounded out his first time up.
I still like that strikeout call, though. I'd be trying to get him to a chiropractor tomorrow if I was on the mound. I'd be going for every strikeout.
Line to left by Medlin, but it hangs up. And Carter's there for the catch.
And here is tonight's Toyota Trivia question again. Who was the last Mets position player to strike out in 14 consecutive games? Both Joe and I guessed wrong because somebody to our right had the answer. Todd Hundley. Not because he knew it, because he read it.
1998, Hundley had 20 hits and 55 strikeouts. It's been a rough year. Yeah, you just love it when your statistician kind of rolls his eyes up to the ceiling like, let me think.
Who was the son of the one? That's what he started with.
Yeah. Son of the former Major League catcher. What was his name? Hundley. Yeah, I read it on the front page of their notes. Martin Prado's hit the ball hard twice. But 2 outs, both to center field. This one to short. Reyes. Quick release gets him by a step. And the Braves go in order. For the first time tonight, we played 4, 2-0 Atlanta. sunset here in Atlanta on, I know I'm repeating myself, but just a gorgeous night. Game time temperature 81 degrees. It's probably slipped into the high 70s. And a good crowd on hand for the second game of this brief 2-game series. 2-0 to Davis, who lined to center his first time up. .77 degrees as we speak. Ike Davis has done it again. 2-1. That's his fourth.
Yeah, that's the cat and mouse game coming out of the top of the inning. He laid off 2 really good changeups. Guessed right on the 3rd pitch. Didn't think he'd throw him 3 changeups in a row. Throws him a fastball, belt high, and 2-1.
At least from what I've seen, it doesn't take his too long to get out.
No.
4 homers, 2 against Atlanta. Second home run allowed by Medlin this year. Now he's got to regroup against Angel Pagan.
It's the first time he's entered in the 5th inning all year. So timing, everything, you know, you don't think in May you're going to get used to doing these kind of things.
That's straight up the chute. Hayward will have a play on that one. 1 out.
This is going to be his in-season kind of spring training as he starts acquiring innings, pitches, throwing 70 pitches, 80 pitches. I wonder what they're going to put a limit on him today. Probably won't let him go much more than 90. And then once he gets about 2 or 3 more starts under his belt, you know, everything should be fine. You start getting conditioned for that. But he was conditioning his year for little sprints as he comes out of the bullpen quite a bit.
Jeff Francoeur puts a charge in 1, and he may have just tied this game up. Cabrera looks up. We're tied at 2, and Jeff Francoeur, in a big way, snaps an 0 for 20. His 5th of the year.
Curveball that stayed over the front of the plate, did not have good break on it. It went down. It just wasn't sharp enough. Right in the wheelhouse for Jeff.
Henry Blanco drew a walk his first time up, but we start over, tied at 2.
He likes to step just a little bit inside as he loves to go get that like a golfer. He hits it a long ways, by the way, on the golf course.
He told me that he talked with Jerry Manuel about not playing the last 2 days, but Jerry told him, I just want you to clear your mind a little bit, get away from it for 2 days, and then regroup. A ball and 2 strikes to Blanco with Santana on deck. One of the things that I remember about Medlin's struggles last year with his control, John, was that the more balls he threw, the more guys he walked, the faster he worked, where he was just a blur out there. Looks like he's got a little better command and control of himself on that now. Great play by Martin Prado after the ball bounced off the glove of Medlin. Martin realized it was Henry Blanco running and was able to go get him.
And you're right, Joe. He's much more under control. He's got an aggressive mindset as a pitcher, but his mechanics can get a little fast, but he's been real good at keeping his leg kick calm, and everything's going. To throw a two-seamer like he does, he has to finish almost on plane with that inside part of the plate. And he's really been really good, with the exception of a couple pitches over the plate. He got away from his fastball. You can fall in love with that off-speed, and he's been throwing a little bit this inning, a lot more off-speed pitches than fastballs. And this is, he'll learn. Going through the lineup a couple times, he'll learn. And it's easy to fall in love with a pitch that you're working on, and it's been successful. Nobody's hit it, really. And then you get behind and you groove a fastball, and it's 2-1. No big deal. Then he starts Frenchie off with a curveball.
Yeah.
And it's 2-2.
Cued off the end of the bat. Santana stays alive. He struck out his first time. Medlin has fanned 4. The home run hitters talk it over. Davis and Francoeur. Still 0-2.
And see, with the pitcher, I'd like to see him heat him up right here. Just throw a fastball away, 0-2, inning over.
Changeup got him instead. Strikeout number 5. Ike Davis made it 2-1. Jeff Francoeur's first home run since April 30th. Tied it. Go to the bottom of the 5th. Will be on Sports South and Fox Sports South over the weekend. Jason Hayward 1 for 2 tonight. Singled in the first.
Come on, Jason.
And Johan Santana with a new lease on life. 2 solo shots. Even the score after a Troy Gloss 2-run homer in the 3rd. Broken bat roller foul third base side, and that bat goes sailing into the crowd behind the Braves dugout. That one split right down through the middle.
We've seen some travel more distance than normal. just hope that they're all right and paying attention.
I don't believe that fan fared as well as the one earlier tonight. But she appears to be okay. Got a smile on her face. That's good. 2-2 to Jason. He'll be followed by Chipper Jones and Troy Gloss.
Really, the only way to break a bat like that, he had to hit it completely off the end.
He's got cupped in on it too. Jason fights off that fastball. It's still 2-2.
Did you do the cup bat?
I did. Theory was you might have a 34-ounce bat that now becomes a 32-ounce bat. Popped up right above the plate. Blanco wants it. Wright wants it, but it's Blanco who makes the catch.
I'm not going to repeat what the truck said. When I asked you if you had a cup bat.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't say stuff like that to me. I get the giggles and I won't concentrate.
Henry Blanco, being the taller of the two, won that battle. Chipper's 1 for 2. He was aboard with 2 outs when Gloss hit the 2-run homer in the 3rd. And hits that one like a shot to center, but Pagan, playing deep, makes the catch. 2 down. And with 2 out, now it's time to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performance, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. Highest batting average in the month of May. Troy Gloss, 4th at 383. Did the Dodgers put Ethier on the DL? They did. What a shame. Broken pinky finger. Suffered in batting practice.
T.
Dodgers won without him last night. That's 8 in a row for them. They're 4 games over 500. 2 games back of the Padres. Giants in 2nd place, a game and a half back. San Diego's been amazing. Troy hits the ball hard again, and David Wright caught that whether he wanted to or not. And another 1-2-3 inning for Santana. That's 7 in a row. He is set down, and we go to the 6th, still tied 2-2. Chris Medlin back to work against the top of the order. Jose Reyes 0 for 2. He's flied out and struck out. 1 for 6 in the series. The one time he's been on base, last night he did steal a base. In between hot for Troy, but he handles it. Leadoff man retired, and Castillo will be the batter. He's 1 for 2.
So, Joe, when did they change the Coca-Cola bottles? Since I've now started to pay attention to all this stuff.
That was last year, beginning of last year.
Okay.
You weren't here for that.
No.
Put all kinds of messages up there and make it go crazy on home runs. You were here for the cow installation.
It's good marketing. Plus, I like animals, you know.
Go ahead.
I want to wait. I'm going to wait.
It's kind of a
I will.
rally
Right
thing. You need to wait. Well, you need to wait till the Braves are hitting.
Yeah, I got to wait. Next inning.
1-1 to Castillo. Longest outing of the year for Medlin. 5 1/3 so far. Gave up 9 hits and 4 1/3 at Philadelphia in his only other start, but only 1 run. Helped by the fact that he didn't walk anyone. And I said earlier, John, that he was primarily a starter in the minor leagues, and that's not true. His first 2 years were all out of the bullpen. He made the move from Danville to Rome to Myrtle Beach to Mississippi, but that was all bullpen. Then he spent half the year in 08 as a starter before last year 6 out of 8 games as a starter for Gwinnett. 2 out.
He's doing a great job tonight, giving the Braves a big boost. I know it's 2-2. He'd love to have a 2-1 or 2-0 lead, but when you go into a game like this, the whole staff knows, okay, this guy's just getting his feet wet again starting. Be prepared. You might have to come in the 4th, the 5th. And he's limited his pitches. He's been on the attack for the most part. And I think when you look back at a film like this, which he will, he'll prepare each start looking back. He'll say his changeup's come a long way, but don't forget about the heater. Attack with the fastball.
This is his 74th pitch. And it's lifted to center. McLeod racing back. Has got it. A real quick inning for Chris Medlin. He gets a 1-2-3 in the 6th. McCann, Escobar, and Cabrera due up in the bottom half of the inning. take on the Philadelphia Phillies from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern Time. Brian Anderson and Ron Darling will have the call. Interleague play is upon us. Here's Ron in town covering the Mets, working with Gary Cohen. Former Yale Bulldog. Ground ball right over the bag this time and turns into an easy out for Ike Davis and Johan Santana.
So I saw the weirdest thing the other day. This guy was fishing in his boat in the lake, ran out of bait, was looking for things to do, and he saw this snake swimming along with a frog in his mouth. So he put the cast net down and he picked up the snake. He didn't know how he was going to get the frog out of his mouth without getting bit, so he poured some whiskey down the snake's mouth. He releases the frog. So he lets the snake back in the lake, and he uses the frog as bait. Well, 5 minutes later, the snake came back with 2 frogs in his mouth. Wildest thing. I can't believe I saw that.
El Escobar, hot shot to short. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Now, I've got reliable sources on this, that when Bobby Cox had his day in Washington, where he was given the proclamation by the Senate and the House,
right?
They had a little Q&A afterwards, and a senator asked Bobby if it was true that John Smoltz was probably going to be, at some point in the season, the 5th starter for the Atlanta Braves. And Bobby really didn't know what to say, and the senator said, "We can only hope so that we don't have to listen to any more jokes."
Hey, they're listening, right? How would they know?
But you've got government leaders upset.
Well, I don't know about upset. A couple guys on the treadmill were watching the game yesterday, I found out, and almost got injured hearing yesterday's joke.
Cabrera with a shot foul.
It's a delayed 1-inning effect. You've got to get it in there before so it can be effective.
Looks like it's going to be a delayed 1-inning effect for this rally, unless Melky can do something about that. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out and flied out. Nine in a row set down by Santana. Two runs, 5 hits for Atlanta. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Mets. It's out of play. Last night, the Mets won on only 5 hits, 3-2. Full count now to Cabrera with McLouth on deck. Johan works from the third base side of the rubber. Popped him up, looked like on a slider or a cutter. And Blanco there for the out. 10 in a row set down by Johan Santana. And we've played 6. toe-to-toe with Johan Santana. 3 home runs have told the story tonight. 2-run shot by Troy Gloss for Atlanta in the 3rd, and solo shots by Ike Davis and Jeff Francoeur in the 5th. David Wright leads off for the Mets here in the 7th. 2-0.
If you're Chris, you got to make a very big conscious effort to get the ball down. This is your 7th inning. You might not be physically tired, but mentally you've been going out there more times than you have all year. Get the ball down. Let your defense continue to do work for you. It's a big inning for him and for the Braves, because you know Santana was not going to give the Braves any more mistakes after he made that one to Troy Gloss. So Chris has done a great job. You just got to be location conscious the later you get in the game.
Jammed right with that 90 fastball. 2-2.
It always took me a little while when I was younger. I tried to overpower later in the game because I knew I was getting, maybe legs were getting a little heavy, but that didn't work. I had to be more. Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine were the keys to that being a transition for me, saying you've got to be more location conscious later. You can overpower the guys earlier in the game with stuff, but your stuff won't be as electric later in the game, so you have to be more.
Or at least pick a spot where you can pump up on one and give your max effort on something going for a big out. Oh, beautiful change up right down on strikes again. It's been a beauty tonight for Chris Medlin.
You see, he wants to get out and get it. A lot of movement for Wright. Even on his previous strikeout, looked like he was in 2 sections. But that's a product of a really good arm speed fastball. Looked like change up result pitch gets him out in front. It's going to be interesting to see how he attacks Ike in this at bat versus the bat that he hit the home run to lead off the inning. See if he attacks him a little bit more.
6 strikeouts tonight. His career high is 9. That was last year at Arizona on May 31st. It was also his longest outing, Hal Galima tells me. A 6-inning effort until tonight. He's gone 6 1/3, and no action in the Braves bullpen until just a minute ago. Boy, Ike Davis really, I mean, as Medlin's winding up, getting ready to throw, Ike Davis really coils and turns that front shoulder back toward the catcher. He's got some working parts there. He homered leading off the 5th.
This is guessing Peter and getting it, like you said, turning his back to the pitcher and unleashing.
The 3-1 pitch. Change up, lost him. It's the 2nd walk for Chris tonight, and Angel Pagan the batter.
This was a really good pitch. 3-1. I like the selection. Changeup is supposed to go after it. Had McCann not reached back for it, maybe if he was centered, could have got the call. But reaching back, the umpire was not going to give the benefit of the doubt.
Roger McDowell out to make sure he's got enough in the tank for at least one more hitter. 85 pitches, 56 strikes. Peter Moylan getting ready.
It really is. This is probably in a situation where this is his last, could be his last hitter, unless he gets the double play.
His spot due up 2nd in the bottom of the inning.
This is where you hope as a pitcher, man, if I could just get a double play, maybe the team could reward me with a couple runs and sneak out a win.
Pagan tonight is line to right, fly to right. Fastball up. Looked like a fastball. Might have been a changeup.
Yeah, he's coming off just a little bit. A little anxious. This is what happens. You get in the seventh, a little anxious, trying to place the ball. He's got to go back to throwing quality pitches. Get it down in that zone.
Like that. 1-1. Davis at first. No stolen base attempts so far. One and two. Like Pagan was looking for a change up there and didn't get it.
And that's going to be the beauty of Chris Medlin as he works through games. He can flip-flop the first part of the game through a lot of changeups. He can have them eaten out of his hands, throwing a lot of fastballs in the second half. He'll learn to do those different things and vice versa. Attack with fastballs, later in the game throw changeups.
Time to chase a bad one there.
That's the part of pitching that I used to love, and I think everybody who's done it long enough to know it really is a cat and mouse game. You're trying to set the game up because as a reliever, you just come in, you're just trying to get that guy out. Well, as a starter, you know you got to face him 2 or 3 times. So you've got to do things differently unless a guy just cannot see one of your pitches and you just keep throwing it over and over again.
Mets are 0 for 10 tonight when they've had 2 strikes on them. It's 1-2 to Pagan. Oh, off the thumbs, and Unell can't knock it down. Davis will stop at second. But one that just found the hole for Angel Pagan right off his fists. And that's going to do it for Chris Medlin.
Great job. That was a well-pitched game and a great pitch there with a horrible result. And that hit.
Jeff Francoeur due up. Peter Moylan is ready. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Great hand expected for Chris Medlin. Peter Moylan worked here last night, gave up a hit, and was able to retire Jeff Francoeur on a fly ball to left. And he heads up on the first pitch. Francoeur, 13 of his 29 hits this year have come on the first pitch, including 3 homers. He homered in the 5th to tie it. He's got a chance to put the Mets on top here. goes after the first pitch and lets everybody in the Braves dugout know that he's at the plate. Got that inside curveball. Last time up for the homer, he flied out his first time up. Broke his bat. He'll need some new lumber.
Key to Peter Moylan is the extension on the front side when he goes to throw these pitches, especially his slider to right-handers. He's done real well against right-handers. Of course, left-handers hitting way too high of an average. But it's that extension that he goes to deliver the ball that's key, and whether a hitter recognizes this pitch or not.
To third, Chipper gets one. Double play, inning over. Peter Moylan gets it done. A 5-4-3 double play. And the biggest fan of all was Chris Medlin, who loved this. Still tied at 2. Allowed. Walked 2, struck out 6. Just an outstanding effort. Johan Santana, though, has set down 10 in a row. This is the bottom part of the Braves order. McLeod, the pitcher spot, and then Prado. And now it's time to take a look at the Cartridge World scorecard, brought to you by Cartridge World. Why pay more to paint?
I wonder if Santana knows it's the joke 1-inning delay inning.
Oh, if he did, he
would have been smarter to come out.
He'd be throwing a lot of balls, a lot of pitches wide of the plate. Ground ball, right side, Davis. Good play, 1 out. 11 in a row. Omar Infante will pinch hit for Moylan. Omar hitting .313, homer, 9 RBIs. His last start, he went 4 for 4 just before Escobar was activated. Takes a strike. Infante just 3 for 27 in his career against Santana. Oh, 0-2.
He likes hitting at home so far, though. 5, 71 clip, I think. My memory's good.
Got him with a back-to-back change-ups. Strikeout number 4 for Santana, and he's set down 12 in a row since the 3rd inning with 2 outs. Chipper singled, Gloss homered, McCann singled, Escobar singled, but he was able to get Cabrera to fly to center, and that started this string. Prado's 0 for 3. Johan looks like he's feeling it. He's at 101 pitches and dealing right now. A lot of strikes.
The only thing that's going to get him out of the game might be the next inning when he comes up to the plate, because he is as comfortable as it comes right now in his mechanics and just attacking the hitters. Strike one almost seems like every hitter.
Come on, kid.
Jenry Mejia loosening up in the Mets pen behind him. Short. It's like an easy inning, and it is. 13 in a row set down by Johan Santana, and we go to the 8th, still tied. We're in the 8th. Takashi Saito, the 3rd pitcher used by Bobby Cox. He'll try to do just what he did last night. He came in and worked the 9th and struck out the side. 2.25 ERA. "16 innings, only 8 hits. That's not too bad."
Not bad at all.
He'll face Blanco, Santana's spot, and then Reyes. And Alex Cora has come out on deck to hit for Santana. Blanco tonight, a late addition to the lineup, has walked. And he's grounded out. A great play by Prado off the glove of Medlin. Retired Henry. Pittsburgh 2-1 over the Phillies. They're in the top of the 8th in Philadelphia. I already told you that Florida behind Josh Johnson shut out Arizona today 8-0. St. Louis leading Washington 2-0. Bottom of the 4th at Busch Stadium. 0-2 to Blanco. Cincinnati bounced back. There's Cora. No hit for Santana. Cincinnati came from behind to beat Milwaukee and hand them their 8th straight loss today. Trevor Hoffman gave it up. 7 homers in 13 innings pitched this year for Trevor Hoffman. The 0-2, did he go? He did not.
Close.
Yeah. That was close. Could have gone the other way. Yes, he did this time. And Henry knew it. Cora being called back. And Jason Bay's going to pinch hit instead. Pull back the guy who might bunt a runner over if Blanco reaches. Instead, put up the guy that might, with one swing, put you ahead.
I know he's only got, what, 11-game hitting streak?
Yes.
That's why I think the hitting streak thing is going to be so tough to beat. These guys these days deserve days off, but then you get that one pinch hit that ruins it. Put a lot of pressure on this one at bat.
First pinch hit appearance of the year for Jason Bay. 1 home run, 16 RBIs for the year. Big curveball there. Santana, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he set down the last 13 in a row. Two and 1 to Bay. Alcalima tells me the last time Jason Bay pinch hit was in 2008, and he hit a 3-run homer. That would have been for Boston. And as John said, he's hit an 11 in a row last night. 1 for 3 with a walk. And he stole a base. Off the plate foul. Of course, these two guys were teammates along with you in Boston.
One of the guys had a long hitting streak last year for Boston. Didn't realize that he got hit. Might have been Jason Bay. He got hit twice. It doesn't count as an at-bat. You can keep your streak going.
Sure.
I didn't know that. I thought if he played and reached a base.
I mean, even a walk. If you walk 4 times, that doesn't count. Hitting streak still intact.
Didn't know that.
Popped up, might stay in play for McCann. Gloss comes in. Troy wants it, and he's got it. 2 down.
Fastball rode in. Couldn't quite pull his hands in to get on top of it. Ball beat him to the barrel, and he pops it up for an easy pop-up.
First guy to put the ball in play, though, against him in 2 nights. Jose Reyes 0 for 3, 1 for 7 in the series. See, Brian McCann uses different signs for Saito than he does the other pitchers.
Yeah, he's not giving him the sign of the cross or anything. He's just basically giving him different touches.
Hitting different parts of his equipment for the call. 1-1. Heart of the order for the Braves due up in the 8th. Hayward, Chipper, and Gloss. Chipper in on the grass at third in case Reyes tries to bunt. A 1-1. Out of play.
1023B in the rule guide. Consecutive hitting streak shall not be terminated if all of the batter's plate appearances, one or more, in a game result in a base on balls, hit batsman, defensive interference or obstruction, or a sacrifice bunt.
But not a sacrifice fly.
If this hits a sacrifice fly, it shall be terminated.
That's too bad. To Prado. 1-2-3 inning for Takashi Saito. Heart of the order coming up for the Braves in the 2-2 tie.
Not intentional, or do you just let it go? Well, since I've done that a few times in my career, I make sure the guy know that it was unintentional. And the best way to do that is just look at him, give him a little nod, my bad, send a message to the catcher, make sure all is well, especially if he's bigger than you.
You did have somebody come after you, though.
I did.
In New York, as a matter of fact.
Foolish, too. Absolutely foolish. Got me the longest suspension in baseball history for a pitcher, by the way.
Did it really?
At that time, 8 games.
Wow.
There was a rash of it going on. At that time, Mr. Coleman, the league president, wanted to say enough. And he came out with a statement and said, I want starting pitchers to start missing 2 games. So he suspended me 8 games. But that doesn't work. You only miss 1 game that way.
Pedro Feliciano on to pitch for the Mets to face Jason Hayward. Feliciano worked last night, a third of an inning, gave up a hit and a walk, but he struck out Brian McCann to end the 8th inning. The runners at first, actually with the bases loaded in the 8th.
Come on, take.
Angelosi.
And Cangelosi that came after. I thought he was faster than that because I thought he would have caught you sooner than he did.
Come on, kid.
2-2.
I wasn't trying to hit him. I made my mind up that the guy who hit the grand slam, Ryan Thompson, took forever to round the bases. And I just never looked up, didn't know who was batting next. I was just going to throw it in and let him know I didn't appreciate the fact that took longer for him to get around the bases than sing the national anthem.
Big sweeping breaking ball retires Hayward.
And John Cangelosi, if you remember, stands right on top of the plate. As we look at this pitch, almost looks like it's thrown behind him if you're a left-handed hitter. And the next thing I knew, when I looked up, that was the only thing I saw, was I was throwing the ball inside. And I didn't even realize who was at the plate. Ball hit him right in the hip. And he thought, so he came out.
Did a little dance. Chipper takes outside. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Scored a run in the third ahead of Gloss's homer. That home run is accounted for the Braves' only runs. 2 runs on 5 hits for Atlanta. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Mets. Pitching has been the name of the game tonight. Breaking ball to Chipper for a strike. He faced Feliciano last night, but with runners at first and third, Feliciano pretty much pitched around Chipper to load him up to get to McCann. Sinker fouled off 1 and 2.
The arm action for Feliciano against left-handers, as we mentioned, is very tough to hit. But when he does really well against right-handers, you got to. It kind of sneaks in on him, and then he throws that slurve to get him off the fastball. He's done a nice job for the Mets. He's really limit. He's more than just a left-handed specialist.
I think he's become one of the best left-handed setup men in baseball.
Oh, great.
Because of his ability to get left-handed hitters out. Lefties came into the game hitting 194 against him. Right-handers 290. How about a gapper? Tried the back door of the slider and missed. 2 and 2.
It's been really tough this year with 2 strikes. Hitters are only batting .054. That's pretty bad. Pretty good if you're him.
Way outside, full count. Right about here's where Bobby's yelling, base hitter, ball 4.
Take that back. Chipper is hitting .054 with 2 strikes.
We'll do something about that number right here.
Chip.
3-2 breaking ball fouled back. He's got that look in his eye. A good cut at that off-speed pitch. 3 and 2. Locked in. And right back to him. 2 down. Troy Gloss has walked, homered, and grounded out. What do you think Warthen's going to say here?
I think he's basically saying, look, you got a base open, even though there's 2 outs. Typically don't want to put the leading run on, but I think with McCann on deck, and as tough as he's been on left-handers, don't give in.
Yeah.
Don't let this guy beat you right here. Even though traditionally you never want to face a Brian McCann, but the way it's been going and the way he pitches to left-handers, I believe he's saying, pitch him aggressively your way, but don't give in.
Troy has accounted for the Braves' only runs with his 3rd inning homer. A changeup that stayed up, and he launched it. His 6th homer of the year. 2nd of the homestand. Let's see how they work him. Plate ball 1. Ross did not face him last night. pitch there, though, 1-1.
Okay.
But if you're pitching to not give him anything to hit, and if he swings, hey, that's a bonus.
Right.
And you're working everything off the plate. That's a comfort level for a pitcher, I would think.
And part of it may not be don't give him anything really slow to let his bat speed lift the ball in the air as he hit an off-speed pitch off of Johan.
Right on it. That boy, take.
1-2. And Troy upset that he missed that one. Braves got 2 in the 3rd. Mets got 2 in the 5th. Ross's 2-run homer in the 3rd. Solo shots in the 5th by Davis and Francoeur. Tied it. Backdoor slider. Feliciano thought he had it. He was walking.
I thought he had it.
2-2.
What a great pitch. And that's just as good as you can throw a backdoor slider. Ooh.
Broke around the plate. Any hitter would tell you that.
May have. It was nasty.
2-2. 3-2. Maybe this goes back to their discussion on the mound, though, John, and that is, don't have to throw a strike here if you're not comfortable throwing one. Payoff pitch to a hot hitter. Got him with a breaking ball. Snapped it off, down and in. Another good inning for Feliciano. We go to the 9th.
Can't force what you can't control, and he's got to come out here in a 9th inning hoping to pick up a win.
He did just that 4 days ago against Arizona. Worked the 9th inning, gave up a couple of hits and a run, was on the hook for a loss until Martin Prado came through with some heroics.
Well, I made a mistake in the scorebook. My streak ended at about 10 games, so I need him to strike out this guy.
Uh-oh, you put it in the wrong side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not ready for the whiteout yet because he might strike him out.
Okay. Castillo's 1 for 3 tonight. Going to make Wagner throw a strike, and he did. Castillo 0 for 10 in his career against Wagner. That's why he was looking for some help from Billy. Late on that one, 1-2. Saw Fernando Tatis on deck. Looks like he'll hit for Chris Carter.
Get him for me.
Laid off, 2-2. He's thinking about you, though.
I know, I need it. This is where I need teammates to pick me up right here. Mr. Whiteout sitting right next to me staring at me. I don't need you.
Oh, he just got a piece of it to stay alive. 97 on that heater.
You know, I do mine in pen. You do yours in pencil. Obviously, you have an eraser on yours.
Made it real easy when they had that lineup change today.
Yeah. But
Mr. Scribbles. To deep short. Nice stop by Escobar. He'll have to hurry. Not in time. Great effort by Yunel Escobar, but he had a fast runner to deal with. And the Mets have their leadoff man on.
play in the hole where all he could do is get up and throw a bullet over to first, but the speed of Castillo just...
Yeah, that was a lot closer than I thought.
Another angle where he comes up firing. Great play, but unfortunately, umpire called him safe. Awfully close.
Yep. It'll be Matthews instead of Tatis. Hitting for Carter. He no doubt will be trying to bunt. Gary started in center field here last night. Went 0 for 3, had a strikeout, and hit into a double play. One for 4 in his career against Wagner with a homer. Shows bunt, and did he foul it off? No. That just got by McCann. McCann's asking. Oh, he's asking if he attempted to bunt it. The appeal said no.
Yeah, it just did get by him.
And now Bobby Cox has been thrown out of the game for yelling at Ron Culpa, who had his head in the dugout earlier in the inning.
I think he enjoys throwing out Bobby Cox because he's thrown him out quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Bobby thought Matthews definitely bunted at the ball. So now Matthews will try to move Castillo to third after the wild pitch. Gloss comes in at first. Chipper even with the bag at third.
You get a high fastball and he pops this bunt up.
Two and 0 in the count. This is the first pitch, John. You think he bunted at it?
No.
Jiggle there right before he pulled the bat back. Bunning 2-0. Yep. And it did pop it up, but it's going to spin foul. Chipper was letting Wagner know to let it hit and spin.
He hasn't had a lot of bunts. He's only really had one since 03. A lot of them being the American League. They don't do that stuff, right? I think it's against the law over there.
Well, they were going to use Cora last inning if Blanco reached. I wonder why they wouldn't use him here. Two and one. Still Bunning. 3-1. And you're right, it is very tough to bunt some 95, 96 mile an hour flames that are about a letter high. Hitters count, but a guy who's been struggling with the bat. Let's see what Jerry Manuel does. Braves think he's still bunting, and he is. And he drops it down. Wagner looks to third, but he'll go to first, where Prado's covering. Go ahead run at third with one out for David Wright. Good job by Matthews.
Braves have a decision to make here with the left-hander on deck. Looks like they're going to go ahead and pitch to him and keep the infield in. Maybe try to coax a strikeout. Someone who's had a slew of them lately.
He's fanned his last two times up. He's 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 1 in his career against Wagner. The infield in. These guys were good friends when they were teammates on the Mets. Prior to Billy's trade to Boston last year. Fastball on the inside corner, 1-1. Castillo with good speed at third. Might be going on contact. Breaking ball that was up, and he got away with it.
He did. Ooh. What you're trying to do there, and he might come right back with it, try to bury it at his back foot. You've got to make the hitter think that the fastball's coming inside. That one's just was a slurve over the middle. If he buries it in the backside of David Wright's back foot, he'll get a swing and a miss.
Fastball instead. Right down on strikes for the third time tonight. Big strikeout for Billy Wagner.
He just said, I got a little more power for you. Good luck.
Nothing but the Express. Mike Davis homered in the fifth. He's lined out and walked around it. First time he's ever faced Billy Wagner. Infield will back up. Ball one on a 98 mile an hour heater.
It's 9 for 20 with 2 home runs versus left-handed pitchers, but I'm pretty confident that those left-handed pitchers weren't throwing 97.
No. If he's going to wind up in that swing and coil up, he better do it in a hurry. One and one. 98 again. Cabrera shallow in left. McLeod fairly shallow in center. Hayward just about straight away. Breaking ball. Oh, where was it?
A little low, but I'm surprised that he kept his hands back as he was, you got to think heater right here, and you got to attack this pitch, but good job by the hitter.
A little low, I guess. 2-1. Came back with it, and Brian McCann. I wonder if Brian got crossed up there.
tipped the bat.
Did it?
Yep. Came up and got him.
May want to look away if you're squeamish. Those are the worst kind, folks. The ones that hit the dirt and come up under that protective device. Not a whole lot Jim Lovell can do there.
No, he's not asking him to lunch tomorrow, I can guarantee you that. He's checking the color in his face, I think.
Ike Davis with a word for him. The foul tip makes it 2-2. Tom Hallion can certainly empathize and giving Brian all the time he needs. So 2-2 the count. Go ahead run at third. Fans on their feet. Oh my goodness. Good stop by Brian. That was the last ditch save there with the glove. Full count. Angel Pagan on deck. Fastball here.
You know what? He's got to think it's a fastball here. And I would throw the slider and see if he can't keep his hands back this time.
Fastball lifted down the left field line, but slicing foul and into the seats. 98 on that fastball, and Davis just got a piece of it. Just pulled it right out of Brian McCann's glove. In the Braves' half of the ninth inning, McCann, Escobar, and Cabrera due up. First things first. Struck him out with the slider. Wagner leaves the go-ahead run at third. And we go to the bottom of the ninth. Still tied.
after he hit for Chris Carter. McCann 1 for 3 tonight. Surprisingly, last night, Feliciano threw McCann more fastballs than I expected. Started him with one. Not there. 2-0. Need a base runner. Tied in the ninth. Taking all the way, and it's a strike. 2-1. David Wright way off the line at third. Ike Davis guarding the line at first. And it's line to right, base hit. Francoeur hustles over to get to it and hold McCann to a single, and Bryan gets a measure of revenge against Feliciano with a leadoff single in the ninth. And Brett Cleveland will run for him.
Good piece of hitting as he lines this in. Routinely becomes a single, and the pinch runner gives the Braves an opportunity as the Mets are going to make a change.
They've got Henry Mejia ready in the pen. Walks in those 17 innings. Last work 3 days ago at Florida, an inning, gave up 3 hits and a run, struck out 2. 6 feet, 160 pounds, out of the Dominican Republic. Last year started in A ball, finished up in AA. And Yunel Escobar, the batter. See how Bobby and/or Chino Carajilla play this one. Remember, Bobby was ejected in the top of the ninth. Escobar tonight, 1 for 3. He's bunting and popped it up. but out of play. 95 on that fastball. So a similar situation for Escobar that Matthews had last inning, or the top of this inning, trying to bunt Wagner. Escobar has one sacrifice, as you see this year. Cleveland has good speed at first. That one a little outside, 1-1 at 98.
Well, these guys don't bunt very often. But he doesn't look real comfortable in his stance as he's trying to. He needs to square up a little bit, be flexing with his knees so he can cover the plate and be able to do and bunt the ball where it's pitched.
And balance is so important bunting, and if you don't square around, it makes it that much harder. Takes it low.
You really can't have any tension in your legs. You've got to be in what, you know, would almost be a basketball position where you're able to move in any way the ball comes at you. And you use that bat as a sight. I like to use it as my eyesight, because if I had it in front of my eyes and I'm following it with my knees up and down, I never had to jab for the bat ball.
Exactly. Just put it at the top of the strike zone. Low again, 3-1. Castillo in to talk to the kid.
You got options here now. You could send the runner 3-1 count. More than likely he's got to throw a strike. Get a position player out of position. See if the Braves can get something going. Let's see what.
That would be fun to see. He's showing bunt though, and bunted it foul. Well, Escobar's seen 5 pitches, so he's seen the ball out of his hand, and the bunt's taken off here. Let's see if Cleveland's running.
See, right there is a perfect example. There's nowhere for him to run. You got to bunt it first. Stay there, bunt it. You getting to first has no relevance at all on the Braves winning.
That's right.
Getting the guy to second is what you want.
Cleveland's back. Good lead for Cleveland. He's going. Ball 4. Again, the walks. He had 8 in 17 innings coming in with the game on the line. This 20-year-old under a little heat here. Dan Warthen will come out to talk to him. Another lefty is up in the Mets bullpen, Raul Valdez. Switch hitter up there right now, and Cabrera, you got McLeod after him.
Got to make sure you get it out. I'm sure he's telling him, look, we got to get it out. If we can get that out at third base, that'd be great. Don't know what kind of play they'll put on. Doubt it'll be the wheel play. But if you're Melky, you've got to get the ball down the third base line. Make David Wright come and get it.
Right in close at third already. Inside the cut on the grass. Likewise, Ike Davis at first. Cleveland's got to be heads up, not to wander too far in case there's a pickoff. Cabrera's bunting. He takes ball 1.
If you're a pitcher on the mound, you've got your control, which seems like it might be iffy right now. You want to try to throw something in, slider, make him try to pull the bunt to the first baseman. Could get the play at third. You don't want to pitch it outside.
Bunted at that one and came up empty. Good bunter. Reyes holding Cleveland close. Bunt is off the plate and foul, and Melky's behind 1-2.
Yeah, right here he's just doing a little too much reaching, stabbing for the ball. You got to put the ball and let the angle of the bat deliver it to third. You can see he's trying at the last minute with his top hand to push it out there. That's not going to get it done.
No, got to leave it out there in front.
Now you got to just get it in anywhere if he is bunting.
He's not. But it might work as well as a bunt. Chopper to third, and it's thrown away! David Wright throws it down the line, and the Braves win. The bunt doesn't work, but the chopper by Cabrera forces Wright to make a bad throw. Are you kidding me? Braves win it 3-2. A lot of ways to win a game, John. I didn't look for that one.
No, a much-needed win, though. You'll take any way you can as he fought this pitch off the plate. We're going to look at the replay right here. Did a nice job just getting into play. And as David was coming in, he's throwing the ball across his body, and might have been the runner and the ball getting there at the same time, because if you're the first baseman, you got to come off that bag to keep the game alive. Fields it here fine, and as he throws it to first, that's exactly what happened. The runner gets right in the way of the ball, and he couldn't get his glove around. But you got to step off the bag to get this ball.
You got to come get the baseball. But I also like Tom Hallion immediately giving you a sign of safe right there at home plate, indicating that Cabrera in no way was inside the line interfering with the throw. What a win. What a way to win. Doesn't matter how. Just a W. Back with more right after this.